years to be able to start these two programs, which we're really proud of. So today I have with me Pat Dowse. Pat Dowse is a consultant to MACNY, and she also runs her own business. It's the Dowse Factor, if you've never heard of her. And then we also have Brandy Solomon here today as well. She's the Interim Director of Employment for the Strong Center for Developmental Disabilities at the University of Rochester. And then we have Kate Joachim. Kate is currently in our Advanced to Apprenticeship program in Rome, New York, and we're really excited to have her with us today to be able to talk about her experience so far. So please go easy on us, or we're a little nervous. And I'm going to let Pat give you a little bit of an introduction and history of the program.
Cool. Yeah, thank you all. I mean, quite a selection today. I think the next room's going to have overflow and forget that, or realize that they picked the wrong session, that they really should be with us, because this is where the excitement's going to be. But a little bit of background. This goes all the way back to 2017, when the state of New York was given the challenge to actually rethink the way in which we were supporting people with developmental disabilities in particular, but also the Office of Mental Health, who each, as state agencies, supported sheltered workshops, or the entity I like to call work centers, the center of where all work began. And when you think about it, we started in 2017, we started looking at how were we doing the business that we were doing, who was there, what kind of services did they need. And now 8 years later, we have a goal that's been submitted by the Employment Committee of the Most Integrated Settings Council that we will, as a state, increase the number of competitive integrated employment opportunities. And you've chosen to listen to how manufacturing as an industry is going to play a part in that. I would be remiss in not thanking the Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, now known as the Council for Developmental Disabilities. It was Jim Hubin and his leadership back then, with Susan Hetherington from the University of Rochester, that felt that this was a viable initiative to pay attention to and figure out how to include manufacturing businesses. You know, when we say manufacturing too, I think people start to immediately, especially if you're somebody my age, you think about the grim and the dark factories of old. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not what manufacturing is today. I mean, there are fun places to go. I got an opportunity to actually tour New York Creates, which is right here in the capital region, connected to SUNY Albany, and I felt like I was walking along with Mike, Zakowski from Monsters, Inc., because everybody is in their white uniforms and there's things flying over your head. I mean, it is real. It is happening. The chip factories and those kinds of things are exciting places to work, and they believe in their personnel. And so to think that 7, 8 years ago, I was helping people remove paying people less than minimum wage to now be able to get a job where they're starting in an apprenticeship opportunity at probably nothing less than $19, $20 an hour and higher in order to succeed is pretty exciting. And I want to give a lot of credit to this gal right here and her colleagues that came before her, because she's inherited all the excitement that's going on in regards to building this now and taking it around the state. But it was an initiative, it was a pilot, it was an initiative, and now it is a real program that's been approved. You heard the commissioner, if you sat this morning, Commissioner Reardon, actually talked about direct entry programs in her opening comments. This is it. These are the direct entry programs that are specifically focused in manufacturing and indeed are supporting people with any level of disability or ability that has a challenge, as we might want to say. So sit back and relax and enjoy to learn a little bit more about where we are. A year ago, we became a real life program, and now we are a real life entity, graduating people on a regular basis and getting jobs as apprentices in manufacturing businesses in both the Syracuse, Utica area and Rochester. But as Colleen says, soon to come to yours, and we'll show you that in a little bit.
I've got the clicker. Okay, so I think it's really important to start with the end. So the point of our Real Life Rosies and Advanced to Our Apprenticeship programs is to provide career pathway opportunities to our program participants. And the opportunity that we're preparing our participants to enter is a registered apprenticeship program. So for those of you who are not familiar with registered apprenticeship, it is a structured training program, and it will provide the graduates of the registered apprenticeship program with a portable credential that is recognized nationwide. So a lot of people are familiar with the construction trades. So think like journey worker plumber, journey worker electrician. Well, we have these for advanced manufacturing trades as well. So MACNY and its alliance across the state, we sponsor over 22 different registered apprenticeship programs in trades and manufacturing. So we're preparing our participants to enter any one of those 22 trades at any of our companies that we provide the training for. So you could be anything from an industrial manufacturing technician to a manufacturing engineering technician. We've got a project manager trade. The list goes on. But it's important to remember that these program participants are being provided with an opportunity to enter those registered apprenticeship programs when they graduate. So it is an earn while you learn model. So you're first and foremost an employee of the organization where you're provided the training. So you're earning a paycheck and it's paid on the job training and you're paired with an experienced mentor in the field. So it's a one-on-one mentorship in the field. You're also going through some classroom instruction. And right now, SUNY is actually providing a lot of tuition assistance. So you're going to school for free. You're earning credits and you're learning on the job at the same time. It is industry driven. So each, company is, has a say in the type of training that you're learning, and it's coordinated to the type of job that you're doing. And again, it is it's a career pathway that provides a structured path to long-term family sustaining careers. So as you're going through your apprenticeship program, you're also earning raises. So it's built into the cake. You don't even have to ask. So after a certain amount of hours, depending on the company, you're earning a raise, which is really nice. I myself am an apprentice right now. I'm almost done.
Yay.
I'm finishing this month, hopefully, by the end of the week. So thank you. Really exciting. And I'm doing the project manager trade. So when I was going through, halfway through my program, I earned a raise. I didn't even have to ask my boss. In fact, I looked at my paycheck one day and I was like, oh, there's a mistake here. So it is really nice. And it's a great career pathway for folks who maybe didn't succeed in traditional college, right? So it's a good career pathway. So thank you. I'm doing it on my computer. Okay, there we go. Okay, so components of a pre-apprenticeship program. So both of our programs are considered direct entry programs for the New York State Department of Labor. They are certified as a direct entry program. In New York State, the Department of Labor doesn't recognize pre-apprenticeship formally. They only recognize direct entry programs. So that's the difference here. So our programs, in order to be certified, have to have a diversity focus. So all of the program participants that we recruit from underrepresented populations in manufacturing. So one of those populations right now are individuals with disabilities. So our Advanced to Apprenticeship program targets individuals with disabilities for these career opportunities. However, it is inclusive of everyone. So you don't have to have a disability to participate, but we do, make an extra effort to make sure that individuals with disabilities know that this is an opportunity that's available to them. And we try to make the classroom experience as welcoming as possible for those folks. It is industry driven. So, MACNY is a trade association. Our alliance partners are either trade associations themselves or their chambers of commerce. So we are very connected to industry, and we do receive a lot of feedback to make sure that our programs are aligned with, and we're providing the skills that are necessary to get a job in manufacturing. In addition to that, we, as group sponsors of registered apprenticeship programs, provide direct pathways into apprenticeship. So part of our program is that all the individuals who go through it are offered at least 4 job interviews with companies that provide registered apprenticeship career pathways. So it's a facilitated entry. The programs are free. So we do not charge tuition to attend the program. And then we also offer wraparound support. So we do assistance like childcare, transportation. We'll provide work boots, lots of different services, including technology, to be able for our participants to be successful when they're going through the program. Doing it again, I know. Thank you, Pat. Okay. So while this started as a pilot, 5 years ago?
Almost
5 years ago. We also started another program called Real Life Rosies 2.5 years ago as a pilot in the Mohawk Valley. And following the success of that program, we decided to align the Advanced to Apprenticeship program with that model. So now both programs offer the same services. They target different populations, but they do offer the same curriculum and the same wraparound supports. So Real Life Rosies was New York State's first direct entry pre-apprenticeship program targeting women for those opportunities. So think Rosie the Riveter. And it is no-cost training. They learn a lot of different things like safety, CNC machining, robotics, lean manufacturing, and is designed to prepare women for entry-level jobs and registered apprenticeship programs in manufacturing. So the curriculum is based off of Tooling Use Certified Manufacturing Associate course and certification. So our participants earn a nationally recognized credential as part of that. They also received their OSHA 10 for general industry, which is important later when they start their apprenticeship programs because our apprentices have to have their OSHA 10 in order to graduate. So it gives them a head start for their eventual apprenticeship programs and 37.5 hours of related technical instruction. That's that classroom training we talked about for registered apprenticeship. So they kind of get a head start when they go through our program. Again, they receive at least 4 employer interviews, and we do provide incentives as well. So it's up to $1,250 in financial incentives when they reach certain milestones for the program. Okay. Advanced to apprenticeship, again, very similar. Thank you, Pat. What would I do without you?
The middle one?
No, it's this one.
This one?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'll be in charge.
So again, it's the same supports, same program, same services. We also incorporated universal design principles in the curriculum to make sure the course material is accessible. Our participants have access to a tutor at Mohawk Valley Community College, case management. They also, the instructors go through a universal design training program as well. And we connect directly with the disability resource coordinator in the region. So they're a regular part of our partner meetings, and they're helping with the case management and connecting individuals to resources in their communities as needed. So we'll have them push into our program. So they'll come to some of the class nights and just let all the participants know about their services. And then we're also receiving help from them on the front end to make sure that if someone is joining our program, it's going to be financially possible for them to get a job afterwards. That is a challenge for some folks and their benefits. So we want to make sure that we're not setting someone up to not be able to work full time afterwards. So they are receiving those benefits counseling services on the front end to make sure that they're going to be okay.
Could Brandy, could you be kind enough to share a little bit more about universal design? Because I think that's something that the University of Rochester, one of the sustainability pieces that's come out of this project is the ability to build a library. So I think give you a moment to brag a little.
So yes, through the University of Rochester's Advanced to Apprenticeship webpage that we were able to build out to begin that pilot process of Advanced to Apprenticeship. Our first cohort was in Mohawk Valley. We were able to build this library that is open to everybody. And it's literally a place that we have quick bites on UDL, which is that Universal Design for Learning Principles, talking about executive functioning, talking about understanding why some of the different challenges occur in employment with a person who has different abilities. It really is a great place to just start that look for UDL, those universal design for learning principles. And then there's additional resources that we have connected through SUNY, who also has their UDL platform for universal design of learning. And then there's another program that we were able to collaborate with and get additional resources. So it's really a digital library packed full of information for someone to get that asynchronous, that independent learning in the UDL area as they continue to upskill. Because what we found, the reason why this was created, because we found that our instructors in manufacturing were awesome at teaching manufacturing ideas, but really didn't have that teacher background. So we wanted to find a way to bridge that gap of making sure that they knew how to universally teach across the board in their courses while they were offering that technical instruction for the manufacturing topics. The other bit about Advanced to Apprenticeship that I think is so awesome is it's providing that opportunity for exploration. You know, Pat started by talking about how the image of manufacturing can be dark and grim depending on what era you come from, or it really could be nothing at all if you've had no awareness, no exposure. So this is giving that opportunity to have an experience that's exploring with a direct connection to competitive integrated employment, because that is the outcome and the goal for everybody. Yes, we want you to advance into a registered apprenticeship, but taking direct entry pre-apprenticeship training is really building that foundation for you to be able to be successful in a manufacturing industry.
Just really quickly, as a show of hands, how many people have ever visited a manufacturing facility?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, great.
And you know that breweries and bakeries are in the okay, just making sure. Okay.
Yeah. That was a fun one to learn.
Those are the fun ones. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the fun ones. Or actually this New York Creates and the things flying over my head, and I felt like I was part of Monsters Inc. 3. So Colleen and Brandy are talking a little bit about this slide here of the support for success. So the disability resource coordinators, we've heard about that from everybody's talking about Scion, and there's a disability resource coordinator pretty much in every region now that is tied to the local workforce centers. There's also out there there's SUNY Disabilities. We're going to be connected to community colleges with this project. So they all have a student office that offers support services. So that's really important to keep that in mind, that you're not going to have to, if you're working with people that are interested in gaining a job and doing this kind of work, all these other entities have already been brought to the table in an integrated thought process around that. So we encourage you to think that way too with them. But as Colleen said, this program also offers transportation, childcare, some additional kinds of supports in regards to tutoring, and then just in general, the job placement. It is with the businesses themselves that they will have interviews. And Colleen's going to tell you about that.
Okay, so part of the program is that we go on several facility tours so that we're doing some career exploration and folks get an idea of what it's like to work in manufacturing. Every manufacturer is different. So Pat talked about bakeries and breweries. Well, those places are very different from a chip fab. So we're giving our program participants an idea of different companies they could potentially work for after they complete the program. And then we're also making sure that we're having our companies come on site to the class to interview our program participants. So they receive at least 4 interviews with employer partners. And I do have a requirement that you have to have jobs available in order to interview my participants. So these are not mock job interviews. We're trying to make sure that people are getting employed. So our companies will only come on site to interview if they actually have job openings.
So think about you guys, if you're rehab agencies, if you're representing a rehab agency and you have job developers on your team, what a really cool place to connect with, right? Because the partner in the region that's going to be running this project has got connections to businesses who are ready to hire people, and they may need job coaching. So job coaching is definitely a win. There are some facilities that may not allow an on-the-floor job coach because of a government contract and things that might be playing out. We've got some pretty intense manufacturers. Right here in the Capital District recently, I learned there's 900 different companies that are considered manufacturing businesses. Who would have known? I didn't. I'm that, what's the saying? I'm that many years old and I just realized it. So, yeah, and that's just in Albany. You can imagine what New York City and Rochester, Buffalo, we are a manufacturing hub, the state of New York. So it's why that MACNY, Manufacturers Association of Central New York, is so important to this whole process.
So I know I was just on a tour last night with our Real Life Rosies program in Syracuse. We visited a company called JMA Wireless. And they are the only American manufacturer of 5G wireless antennas. So for like Verizon, not like a little antenna, but like the big ones. And it was a really interesting place. And they had this really cool technology. I hadn't seen this before at a manufacturer, but I could imagine where it would be very useful when you're trying to learn a new job, right? So they have all these like cables that 200 different types of cables they're trying to put onto this metal piece for this antenna. And there's a camera that's on the ceiling and it's projecting down onto this table work instructions in color. So I know my yellow cable needs to go in this direction and connect to this thing. And then when I'm ready to go on to the next step, I just place my hand down on this next like button that's projected onto the table, and the program won't let me move forward unless I have done all of the instructions correctly. So it's really, really cool piece of equipment. So I just thought that was really exciting.
And think about somebody who can't figure out how to read English, but knows their colors. That's a simple, right? Everybody's saying that what that's like to try to teach to that kind of, and they don't have to. Industry is finally realizing that they've got to go back to the basics. And if that isn't plain language at its best, that's what we've got here, and universal design. So Brandy's going to tell you a little bit more about that technical instruction.
Took the words out of my mouth, because yes, that universal design in the example that Colleen gave is something that a lot of businesses are starting to catch on to, and we're seeing that change in the ability to help retention by just making it universally accessible for everybody, and with your instructions and your policies and your procedures and all that such. So for technical instruction is all about taking the confidence that people are getting, being in this class that is supportive and offers them the opportunity to learn about manufacturing in an inclusive environment, and making sure that they have those skills that they can walk in the door to a manufacturer with. So participants have the opportunity to receive up to dyslexia is getting me. Okay. 37.5. That's what it says there. Hours of hands-on learning. So really, we know that related instruction is a part of the process to go from pre-apprentice into registered apprenticeship. So they're already getting that experience in this process with Real Life Rosies in advance to apprenticeship. Folks are also able to earn 2 major credentials. And the great part about these credentials is that they're portable. So once you've earned them, you can really take them wherever you need to, in whatever business you go to demonstrate that I got the skills to pay the bills, right? Like, I can do this. So the Tooling U Certified Manufacturing Associate, that CMFGA, is one of those credentials, as well as the OSHA 10 that Colleen was talking about. That is all about safety training. So folks are able to walk out of Real Life Rosies and advance to apprenticeship, not only ready to work, but also safety trained, so that they have a leg up when they're entering into these manufacturing employments.
Okay, next.
Yep.
So, a little bit about implementation. So I talked earlier about our expansion across the state, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about how we plan on implementing that. So in the Mohawk Valley, we started this as a pilot a couple of years ago, and we tapped some very important partners to be able to offer this program. So our partner in the Mohawk Valley is Working Solutions, is the workforce board out there, and they help us coordinate a lot of the supportive services. We do reimburse them for most of the supportive services, but we're able to braid some funding in from places like WIOA in order to better support our program participants. We also, rely heavily on our disability resource coordinator at Working Solutions. And then we do not teach the class ourselves. So our education partner in the Mohawk Valley is Mohawk Valley Community College. In the Capital Region, it'll be Hudson Valley Community College. In Rochester, it's going to be Monroe Community College, and it's currently Monroe BOCES 2. And then, next year when we're in Buffalo, we've talked with Erie Community College out there and Northland Training Center. And we are also planning on expanding to Brooklyn. So Kingsborough Community College out there has expressed interest in providing the program, but we do try to rely on the experts. And so we do contract with the local community colleges to be able to offer the location of the program, the instructors, and also the lab space. Let's see.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a peek at the program goals. Everybody's talking data these days, right? Data. Well, it's funding that comes with a respectful set of goals. Indeed, enrollment, the anticipation is 705 participants. So I'm going to use Andy Sink's comments from earlier. You're all now deputized as manufacturing ambassadors. And you will help us recruit people so that we can reach that 705 because we're at 148 of that 700. And that's with just 2 regions and growing it from seed. So yes, you have a question? You're stretching. Okay, good enough. You can ask questions though. That's okay. We also have we need to make sure that people complete, right? So we're talking about 7 getting involved, but getting them in and them not completing is not good enough when you get funding from some of the folks that we've gotten. And so we are saying that our goal is at least 75% of the participants complete the program. We're pleased to tell you we are making that now. So even though we've only got 148, those 148 are all people pretty much that have completed and are working on doing some other things, if not directly into apprenticeship. That's the other thing that's important. While our goal is to get people into registered apprenticeship jobs, if indeed they need a slower start, but they've now expressed an interest in working at that company, MACNY and Working Solutions helps them figure out where else that they could do a little slower ramp up if necessary. So that's kind of cool. Our employment goal is to be at least 70% of employment rate, and we're above that already with retention of 79%. And then registered apprenticeship, this is the big goal. 800 apprenticeships statewide. We are going to use this program to service the pipeline, and at least 25% of the pre-apprentices enter a registered apprenticeship program within 6 months. So we're getting really good results already with this program design, and it'll only get bigger and stronger when we bring more people to the table. So, yes, ma'am.
I'm curious if you're keeping any data on acuity levels for any of the pre-apprenticeship participants?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just wondering if there's any data on acuity levels for pre-apprenticeship participants and if there's any data being collected on the employer/manufacturing site side tied to retention, reduced turnover, safety, all of those things. I find there's a lot of reservations around bringing on individuals who have different disabilities at different apprenticeship sites due to either a lack of familiarity with disability, what accommodations can do to support individuals, and that type of data. I think employer to employer is really important to expand options for sites.
So while we don't currently collect that detailed level of data, I think that would be really interesting to start doing. We do get a lot of feedback from our employer partners after each and every cohort, just seeing what worked and what didn't so that we can make improvements as we go. We also have implemented some employer training. So we connect with the University of Rochester Strong Center for Developmental Disabilities and Access VR to be able to provide those employer trainings. And we offer that to our entire MACNY membership of our trade association, as well as to our statewide alliance partners. So any employer manufacturer across the state is able to take those trainings, and they're made aware of all the different supports that are available statewide to help their employees who have disabilities to succeed in the workplace.
But if you indeed have some other kinds of suggestions or tools that we should pay attention to, we would definitely be open to that. Where it's a business program, it's a hiring program, so it's not getting bogged, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but it's not getting bogged down in research. It is meant to be getting people trained, getting people job opportunities, and then creating this wraparound supports, including teaching the businesses, as Colleen was just saying, what it means to be an employer who has a diverse workforce. And much to our pleasure, they've been wide open to it because they realize that this is their pool of applicants among some others that they've got to work with. And they've also identified that people on their very payroll are also those people too already, and they've been supporting them. So it's not a surprise altogether in that respect. So.
I have two questions. I didn't see on the slide how long the apprenticeship program lasts.
So our pre-apprenticeship program, the Real Life Rosies and Advanced Tour Apprenticeship, is approximately 12 weeks long. A registered apprenticeship program, which they would graduate into, could last anywhere from 16 months to 4 years, depending on the program they chose. So it does depend. There are over 22 different trades that we offer currently.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So depending on which trade they choose and complete that apprenticeship, then they get their quote unquote real job. And I guess it replaces college trainings or other sort of trade schools. They pick a pathway, they go through this job training, and then they get employment, correct?
So it gets a little confusing, I know. A pre-apprenticeship program, that's the initial training they receive. They're typically a job seeker at that point. They become employed at a company as an apprentice. That is their full-time job right there. They're earning a paycheck. It's not like an internship. When they complete their apprenticeship program with that employer, they become a journey worker. They're earning a higher wage, but they're still an employee of that company. Does that make sense?
Okay, so the company has to hire them. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so I just want to clarify. Then the company hires them while they're in the apprenticeship program. Is that correct? Or they hire them after they complete the apprenticeship program?
They're hired as an apprentice. You have to be an employee to be an apprentice.
So the job title of that person is apprentice machinist, apprentice manufacturing specialist, apprentice technician. That's their job title, getting paid a rate of pay based on their title. In the process of their apprenticeship, they'll get at least 2 raises. Those raises are determined by the business, so it could be different for different businesses. And then when they finish the training that business tells them they must complete, they get the journeyman title, and then they get another raise perhaps. And so, but they're all the whole time an employee of the company, just carrying a moniker of apprentice along with their title, and then they become get a permanent title, let's say, if that's the way that the company perceives it and directs it. Did I do that right?
Wow, that is awesome. I absolutely love that concept. Okay, one last question. Do you also get some kind of support from VR, making sure that they don't leave the position, they don't quit the job? Are you working that out to make sure they have the supports they need, like a job coach or that type of thing? Or are they getting that type of support on the job in the apprenticeship part of it?
Brandy and I can take this one.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. Go ahead,
Yep.
Brandy.
It definitely, it goes both ways in terms of if a person is already access involved, we want to make sure that that relationship is continued through their pre-apprentice training process, right? We are already working with that VR counselor to make sure that if the person had job coaching before and we know that's needed, we have it already ready to go. Their job coach is coming with them for the interview process at the end of the program, and then hopefully transitioning right into that employer to provide that support as needed for the person on their caseload. And then if someone is not involved with Access VR yet, everybody gets the opportunity to meet with the disability resource coordinator with the workforce board. So at that time, it's determined if what their support level is can be addressed by that DRC, that disability resource coordinator, or if they need to then have that connection for a referral into Access VR for those additional supports, starting with pre-ETs, if we're working with a young person who is still eligible for those services, and working all the way through supported employment or even direct placement, depending on the level of need for the person involved with the program.
So again, if you are
Love it. Oh my gosh. I mean, I am just going to be your cheerleader for sure.
in Brooklyn. And so if you're here representing a rehabilitation, community-based rehabilitation agency, and you have a CRS contract for supported employment or for pre-vocational services or for any of those kinds of things, you're going to want to make sure your disability resource coordinator knows about you, because they'll be looking for those supports. They don't do them, they'll need anchors. And so one of the things that's also a requirement of an alliance partner is creating advisory groups. So when we come to your area, we'll be connecting with the DRC. So very important. If you don't know the DRC, we have a QR code. We can give it to you. It's up on the website. But get to meet that person, get to know that person, because they'll be the hub of where the information for all of you to get involved, to help us with our recruitment, help us to create the supports, and certainly do the coaching that we were just talking about.
Yes.
I have a quick question about the data again. Is this for all pre-apprenticeship programs as a whole?
Specifically for the Real Life Rosies and advanced to apprenticeship programs. So
Okay.
there are others out there, and not just for manufacturing trades. So there's construction trades programs as well.
But each of them has their own requirements that were approved by the Department of Labor. That's why it's got to be certified, you know.
Okay, thank you. And then do you track what percentage of people with disabilities you accept and make it through the program?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we do.
thank you.
Okay. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Oh, sorry.
Okay. That's good.
I'm curious if California has, maybe under the Department of Industrial Regulations or another entity, an interagency collaboration committee on apprenticeship, where you're working with the different types of apprenticeship to showcase this and look for other pre-apprenticeship programs. So I'm from California, and we have one, and we have a disability subcommittee that is working specifically on these types of things. And it's been a great way to connect with the other apprenticeship programs. And
Apprenticeship for people with disabilities is a brand new market. Okay, and so we we need ideas, and Andy Sink would probably love to talk to you some more about that. All right. It's up to you. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to skip ahead just because I want to be cognizant of the time, because we still want to talk with Kate about her experience. So just really quickly go through what the expansion looks like. So our alliance, the Manufacturers Alliance of New York State, this is kind of what it looks like right now. So on your right-hand side on the screen, you'll see the different alliance partners. MACNY is Central New York, and that's the company I work for. We have Center for Economic Growth here in Albany, Council of Industry in the Hudson Valley, Ignite Long Island, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Binghamton Chamber of Commerce, MAST, which is in Jamestown, Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance in Buffalo, and then the RTMA, or Rochester Technology and Manufacturing Association in Rochester. So those are the lead partners in each region. And then on the left-hand side of this slide, you'll see logos for different companies that offer apprenticeship programs and are partnered with our program. This is by no means the full list. I can only put a couple of logos on this slide, but we have got Anheuser-Busch. We've got Indium Corporation. They make all the solder in the for the majority of the United States. So if you do any welding, Indium is making that solder. Bausch and Lomb, Global Foundries here in Albany, New York Creates, Saranac, which makes my favorite beer, in Utica, Kodak, which is actually getting involved with battery and energy storage. So it's kind of cool. Plug Power, Berry Global, which makes all of the Cool Whip containers in North America. So if you ever wondered where those came from.
Here in New York.
Yeah. Moog out in Buffalo, Baxter, and again, by no means an extensive list, just a couple of the companies that you could end up working for if you go through this program.
Could you go back one slide?
This one? Oh, I'm doing it on my computer again.
Yes, thank you.
We're going to get you they're going to distribute the PowerPoint. You don't need to make pictures.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, I just want to get to Brandy's going to talk through some questions with Kate here from our Advanced to Apprenticeship program.
All right. Awesome. Hey, Kate. What's up? What's up? All right. So today we have talked about what makes this program special, the hands-on training, the wraparound supports, the connections that open doors to great careers. But the best way to understand the impact of all of this is to hear directly from someone who is living it, right? One of our current participants in the pre-apprenticeship program, Advanced to Apprenticeship, Kate is here to answer a few questions. So, number one, what made you decide to join the pre-apprenticeship program?
So I actually have a few years of experience in manufacturing, not here in New York State, but back in Oregon. I was able to go through a few different temp agencies so that I could really, get into it and start to expand my skills. I didn't really know anything about manufacturing because I'm originally from Sterling, Virginia, and I did retail, I did office work, grocery stores, delis, that kind of thing. And I decided to go down to Savannah because I was in college. I have an associate's degree in psychology. That's not going to get you very far in life. But I did get the opportunity when I got my associate's degree to go out to Oregon. And I was like, sure, why not? I've been on the East Coast my entire life. Let's go try something new. And of course, it was retail when I first moved out there. A couple years later, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need to do something else. I don't have a 401k or retirement or anything. Let's do something different. And that's when I started getting into manufacturing. And I also got into logistics too. So it's not all manufacturing. But I worked for JE Oregon in West Tualatin. Not that you would know where that is, but I ran 3 to 6 plastic injection molding machines. I don't know how to run those things. So I found out very quickly, I actually have a natural ability to pick up on how to run machines. And so I just went with it. And unfortunately, we got hit with a pandemic, and 900,000 people in Portland Metro, we got hit hard. And I ended up coming back home. Rome, not here. Rome is where I live. 2.5 months ago, or 2.5 years ago, because I couldn't keep up with it. It just. So I was really excited to find out about this program because since I already have a little bit of experience, it's been 2.5 years since I've worked though. So me doing this program helps me get back into manufacturing. So that's why I did it.
How did you hear about it?
I heard about it from Working Solutions. Charlene Dion is my caseworker. Or not, I guess maybe not my caseworker, but she was the one who told me about it.
Yeah. One of the workforce development specialists within the workforce board at Working Solutions in Utica, Rome area. So yes, they've been a tremendous partner.
They are wonderful.
So, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, Kate, do you feel the program is accessible and welcoming to everyone? If so, how?
Oh yes. The funny thing is, I'm with A2A right now, but I did start off with Real Life Rosies in Utica. My mother had an accident in our apartment, so I ended up coming to Rome, and switched over to A2A. was the rest of the
Yep. So if it was accessible and welcoming.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. So, so I was able to see, spend some time with Real Life Rosies, and obviously now I'm in A2A. And they were very, very nice and patient with me going from Real Life Rosies over to A2A. And it's just been wonderful. There's only one difference between A2A and Real Life Rosies, and that's Real Life Rosies are for women, and A2A is for men and women. I have the class schedules for both of them, and they're exactly the same. So it's not like Real Life Rosies, have a couple extra special programs, over A2A or vice versa. It's the exact same thing. So if you do end up joining one and are having issues, talk to your person, which for me would be Amanda Coe or Amanda Wilson. Amanda Wilson is Real Life Rosies, and Amanda Coe is A2A. Just talk to them. Keep communicating with them, because they will bend over backwards to help you. They will give you the shirt off their back if you need it. I mean, that's how awesome this program is. And I'm trying not to cry because it's they've been amazing, absolutely amazing.
Thank you for sharing that. So, how is this experience changing your confidence, your goals, and career search so far?
I think thanks to this program, I will not only have a really good chance of getting into Indium, but it'll be the last job I ever have. Like, I'll be able to, retire hopefully in 20 years. And that's my goal.
All right. So, you kind of spoke about it a little bit, but if you can speak a little more about how the staff and instructors have been supporting your goals and success in the classroom and beyond.
I mean, so she was talking about supportive services earlier. I got a Chromebook because I don't have a laptop or access to, a computer or anything. So they got me a Chromebook. And they also got Uber for me to go from Rome to Utica and back for Real Life Rosies. But they've also given me an Uber for, because we actually did Indium a couple of weeks ago. We did the tour of Indium a couple of weeks ago, and I got an Uber for that. And to come here today, they paid for my Amtrak ticket and Uber and even lunch. So seriously, like I said, they'll just be honest and open with them. Communicate with them is the number one thing that will help them help you succeed. Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions. One
Hold on, sorry. Captioning can hear you.
I know there's people over there having a party or something.
So two quick questions. Thank you for sharing your story in such a meaningful way. What does it feel like to have to ask for the supports? Do you have to ask? Do they ask you what you need? Do you go to them?
So back at the beginning of September, we had, they had interviews, and that's basically when we told them what we needed. I wasn't sure if I was going to need help with transportation. I'm glad I asked, because I ended up having to have help with transportation. And I wasn't sure about, the laptop. So, but I was told, just go ahead and ask for it. Let us know now, so we have time to put it together for you. Excuse me. But they will also help you with a gas card if you drive. They will help you with childcare. I think even mileage, depending on if it's like a great distance to go from where you live to whatever program. Among many, many other things. Like if you need food stamps, they can put you in touch with the person that can handle that for you. Okay. I'm on Medicaid and I have SNAP. And they were able to point me in the right direction so I could get what I needed to take care of myself and my mom.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's so fantastic. I'm so glad that you have what you need. My other question is, what is your day-to-day like with school or training and work?
So I am actually not working at the moment. I am taking full advantage of this program. I wasn't sure how the program would go. Even though it's only 2 to 5 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's 4:30 to 7:30 at Real Life Rosies.
She's become our ambassador to
I was afraid to get a job because I didn't want to screw this up. Honestly, it's not that I don't want to work. I mean, I could probably get a part-time job on the weekend, and maybe I will in the next week or two. But my goal is to finish, complete this program and hopefully get Indium. Keep me in your prayers. But that lines more with my goal. And, well, my mom just bought a house at 69 years of age. And we're going to be moving out of Rome over towards Floyd. And I'm afraid that if I got a job that once we, I wouldn't be able to help move anything. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I would actually, because it's 2 days a week, and because A2A is 2 to 5, trying to find a job to kind of.
I thought that it was more of a full time. So I was wondering about the training with the. I thought the apprenticeship was working at the same
So just because it's from 2 to 5, Tuesdays and Thursdays, or 4:30 to 7:30 for Real Life Rosies, you get homework. So that's the other thing.
And remember, this is pre-apprenticeship. She's not.
Yeah, and this is
This is the
pre-apprenticeship,
12-week program that sets the stage for the real interview with the 3 to 4 companies that have apprenticeship job openings for Kate to interview for, which is kind of cool because she's worrying about just one, but she's going to have 3 choices at least to choose from, as much as they're going to be looking to pick her. So we are excited about that being part of the program too.
You should have seen the tour at Indium too. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm serious. It was really neat.
So this is sort of like your pre-classes.
Yes.
Before you get
Yes.
into that.
Right.
Getting you ready, soft skills, stuff like that.
You got
All
it.
of
You
it.
got
Yep.
Exactly.
It's the soft, the professional stuff.
If anybody wants to come up here and look at one of these, it doesn't matter if
The
it's
schedules.
A2A or Real Life Rosies. You're learning the same thing. Like there's no. Do you want to read this?
Here. Yeah, so those
Wait a minute, was I allowed to do that?
it's done.
I told you,
It's
you're
okay.
the ambassador, Kate. Kate, you're the
okay.
ambassador. I forget it.
Yes, yes.
I
So
mean, I have another one.
those professional skills, those technical skills, those are all being taught during that pre-apprenticeship direct entry training, whether it's for A2A, advanced to apprenticeship, or Real Life Rosies. So yes, that's happening up front. And then the cool part, so Kate talked about that the course itself is like 2 days a week for a few hours, but that homework is something that the tutor is available to help with as well. So there are supports around that, but it's that certified manufacturing associate that is being able to be worked on in the hours during class and after class, so that someone can be able to go through and get that certification by the end of the program, as well as the OSHA 10. So there's opportunities to make sure that you can earn while you learn in pre-apprenticeship, and then you earn money while you're working and learning in apprenticeship employment afterwards.
And also, just to let you know, it is an open book test. You can, do your notes and everything, but considering you have 25 modules, get with your Tooling U instructor. And in fact, actually, who is this? Actually, the week before is when we do our practice test, and then a week later is the certification test. And I can tell you right now, I have notes that are about that thick right about now. So that's what I mean. Yeah, it may only be 6 hours worth of class, but there's homework.
Yeah.
So.
And then I do want to put an asterisk on it, because since the program is making its way across the state, that class schedule, the times, the days of the week, really is determined in partnership with that educational partner. So I know, for example, in Rochester, we have an advanced to apprenticeship cohort that's coming online in November at Monroe Community College that will be Monday through Friday, 9 to 1. And they're doing that so that that homework piece is then being woven into the in-person class time, so that there is more in-person supports. But we've learned in Mohawk Valley that it can work both ways.
Yes. These are great questions.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I have a question about the apprenticeship program. What is the job placement rate after graduation?
So for our pre-apprenticeship program, so that 12-week program, I think that's what you're referring to, we're at 78% right now. For a registered apprenticeship program, which would be one of the pathways you could go into after this, the Real Life Rosies or Advanced to Apprenticeship program, you're already employed. So I think that's it's 100%.
Right. And the retention, people stay. They're not dropping out as apprentices. They're staying employed.
And
Apprenticeship starts in the job setting, right? It sounds like.
right, so
It's already in the job.
Yeah, you have to be an employee to be an apprentice.
Right.
For retention of apprentices, though, we do have figures on that. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I do know, and what we found very interesting in the data that we've collected over the years is you're likely, if you're going to drop out of your apprenticeship program, you do so within the first 3 months. And that is usually when you take your first math class. So one of the things that we made sure for our pre-apprenticeship program is that we're doing a math review as part of it to try and mitigate that from happening. So for our pre-apprentices who've entered apprenticeship, the retention rate has been higher, I think in part because they're prepared.
So
for that classroom
how do
training.
we enroll in the pre-apprentice program? Sorry, I'm late if you already covered.
For Real Life Rosies and Advanced to Apprenticeship, if it's available in your area, you can go right onto our website, which will leave you guys the link, and it will also be in the presentation slides. Sorry.
One more click over.
Contact
There you go.
information. We try to make it a very simple interest form. So we just ask for your name and your email and phone number, and then we'll go from there. So it's not a lengthy application. We're not asking
And no stacks of paperwork to prove anything.
Yeah.
You're interested, you get into the program. And you then work with our team to figure out what other kind of supports might be necessary to make sure that you have success. So you do not have to be enrolled with any other support system, VR, OPWD, OMH, any of their programs. If you want a job in a manufacturing company, then you would explore this interest with this program when it comes to your area. And we're going to go, what's the 5 regions again? Cap region.
So I like to go by the B's first.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn, Binghamton, Buffalo. Then we've got Albany, Hudson Valley, and Syracuse, Rochester, Mohawk Valley.
But we're coming to Cap region first, right? Cap region and
Capital
then,
Region and
right.
Rochester and Binghamton. And we already have it in Syracuse and the Mohawk Valley. And I'd like to say we already have it. We already have it in Rochester, and we just launched in Binghamton. So really, the Capital Region starts in January, and then by the fall of next year, we'll be in Buffalo and Brooklyn.
Yes, sir. You waited back there. Yeah, he's coming.
Yeah, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
You said that you were coming to the capital area next year. One of the schools that you said you were working with was Hudson Valley. Was that correct?
Yes.
So currently they do have a program there. It's called the Uniquely Abled Academy.
Yes.
Yep.
So because you guys aren't here yet, what about the people that graduate from that in the current time? Would they be able to use that as a replacement for their pre-apprenticeship when you get here? Or would they have to go through everything again?
I don't think they would have to go through everything again. I think there's different programs. So we are familiar with Uniquely Abled. Pat can talk a little bit about that.
Ivan Rosenberg has been part of our collaborative. So one of the other sustainability concepts that we put in place was we're not the only. I mean, we're excited that MACNY, as the lead manufacturing association for the state of New York, is on top leading this, but there's other initiatives that, like Uniquely Abled. There's another one in Rochester. I'm drawing a blank to names. You got to help me with that. But there's the gentleman that's a part of the collaborative. So, and any of the things that have been happening other places, even here in Cap Can Code, and then there's some other things. We're inviting everybody. In Rochester, there is the work that we're doing with RIT. It is all about building it. So we can look at what's there, but there's specific things that the Department of Labor is expecting a graduate of A2A and Rosie's to have completed. If we can justify that. I can't imagine there wouldn't be a reason we couldn't graduate it, but thank you for the question. I think that we
Yeah.
need to explore that.
Going through a pre-apprenticeship is not a prerequisite
Yeah.
for an apprenticeship.
Right.
So I'm
But you were talking
sure-
about with the class
yeah.
aspect of that, because that is a program that deals with that. I was wondering if you could kind of slot that in with maybe some of the requirements for that.
And
so
there's
you can
been
get
people
into
from
it.
Hudson Valley Community College that's been a part of our collaborative, so we know who to talk to.
All right.
So thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. California has another question.
We've already talked about some of the challenges tied to transportation. I'm wondering if the pre-apprenticeship wraparound supports translate to the apprenticeships in terms of the wraparound supporting transportation. And the other piece of that is a lot of manufacturing companies that I've seen trying to meet some of the challenges of people getting to work on time is to develop routes so that their employees as a whole, disabled or not, can kind of access a site which might be off of a traditional public transit route. So curious about New York's innovation around that and how portable some of those wraparounds are.
So one of the reasons why we partnered with the local workforce development board is, because our funding is limited, right? We don't have unlimited funds for transportation. We can get someone through our 12-week program and then the first few weeks of employment as well. So helping them get to work for the first few weeks until they receive their first paycheck. After that, if they need additional supports, which we've had a couple folks who did, they're connected to the workforce development board and their disability resource coordinator to be able to tap into some other funds and braid other funding in so they can still continue to access the transportation services they need. In Syracuse, I can't speak for the whole state. What I'm familiar with in Syracuse and the Mohawk Valley, we have had some manufacturers who've gotten smart, right? They have started to align their shifts with the bus schedules, which is great. Not all of them do that yet, but hopefully more will start adopting that as, employees, like the labor pool becomes more competitive for employers to find qualified employees. They're going to need to start offering on-site childcare as well. That's another issue that we have in New York State. There's not enough childcare to support the need. So I know we've got an employer coming to our area in Syracuse, which I think there's been a lot of buzz about Micron coming to the Syracuse area. And I know that they're looking at childcare and trying to develop more resources for that for their employees. And then there is more talk about, okay, so we can get you to one place on the bus route, but what about the last mile and utilizing Lyft and Uber for last mile to a work site?
And if you're a person with a disability, any of those expenses, remember, can be IRWIs, right? They're the ability to, if you track it yourself, then you'd be able to report that against your wages, because these jobs are not your minimum wage jobs. These are jobs that are going to start at where they should be, at $20 to $25 an hour, okay? And a person with a disability was receiving SSI or maybe on SSDI, going to need some benefit advisement in regards to how to balance all those things. And so IRWIs and those kind of expenses become important. Again, the DRC and or your local independent living center, VR, if you're approved in VR, they can also pay for a benefits advisor to support you in that respect. So there's lots of places to go that will support advising and planning, not just using and worrying about losing. We want to make sure that people, if you could earn $25 to $30 an hour and have a life that balances out, that's been one of the ongoing challenges. I'm talking next week with a family group who is, very hesitant about even letting their son or daughter as a high school student go to work. And what's their biggest fear? It took forever for them to get eligible for SSI. And as a mom of someone that was on SSI and now is on SSD because he worked enough quarters, God bless him, he got there, but SSD is no pain. No, and it's not a cakewalk. It's another pain to keep track of and make sure of. I mean, those benefits are there to supplement what we need to be talking about, and what this opportunity does is create that pathway to support. So we look forward to working with any and all of you as we move forward. Is there any other questions or thoughts? We will be making sure that.
Yeah, that was a good segue.
Thank you.
That was my question, actually.
Okay.
I'm wondering if these jobs, when the individual is hired, do they have a health insurance package? And then someone said something awesome for being in the field for a lot of years. I heard the word retirement. We moved from get me a job to like, maybe I can retire.
Absolutely.
Anyways, that choked me up. So
Go ahead,
thank you.
Kate.
So yeah, is there a benefits package?
For Indian, I'm sure it is. I mean, granted, I was with temp agencies out in Oregon, because that's how you start. If you have zero experience in manufacturing or logistics, you start off with temp agencies. So of course, with a temp agency, you're not getting crap, pardon my language, for health insurance. I mean, seriously. That's why I have Medicaid now. But the really cool thing that I saw in working for some of these places is, you're getting that 401k, you're getting that thrift savings plan, you're getting your medical, dental, vision, prescription, hearing, like the whole 9 yards. And there are some really nice benefits packages, let me tell you. It's definitely something to look forward to put in that time, put in that effort, put yourself out there, get uncomfortable. Like, I'm super uncomfortable right now because I hate public speaking. But,
You never know it.
but no, seriously though, manufacturing or logistics, over retail, over restaurants, any day of the week, any day of the week. And it's really easy. It sounds complicated, but if I can run 3 to 6 plastic injection molding machines, anybody can. Like, I'm serious. I'm no joke. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'd like to add to that too. We do have some of our employer partners who they're ESOPs. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but essentially it's like employee stock option. So they're employee owned, which is really cool. So we've had a couple of companies convert to an ESOP in the last few years, and then we do have some companies who have unions. So some of the union manufacturers do have apprenticeship programs as well. So, and it is New York State, so there's a lot of competition right now for skilled labor. And I think if you're a company that's offering registered apprenticeship opportunities, the majority of the time you're also offering a pretty decent benefits package, because that is indeed a benefit too, right? You're offering those career pathways for your employees. It shows that you care about them and you're able to provide them with benefits. And it is full time. So there are very few employers who are going to offer you a part-time job. That's been kind of a struggle for some of our students, as they can only do part-time. But for manufacturing, you're typically working a 40-hour week, and a lot of times there's an opportunity for overtime.
Okay, one more question, because we got to get these guys onto a train by 4:00.
Okay. So you mentioned that a lot of the employers have been very eager and excited to hire people, including people with disabilities, which is great. Do you provide any resources to employers who are wondering how to accommodate people who need special accommodations or anything like that if they haven't employed people with disabilities before?
So for any employer, I'm glad you asked that, because that's my department. So through the University of Rochester, I've been able to work with Access VR to develop different series of disability awareness trainings directly for businesses, leaning on Access VR to make sure that they're aware of all of the tax incentives and additional supports around accommodation development that can be collaborated together with for those businesses. So yes, we definitely make sure that they have that information up front. We offer opportunities directly through MACNY so that all of their member businesses have the opportunity to come in and learn. Whether they're at that interview table or not, we want to inform and educate as many people as possible that the reality is, if you let me come in your business, I can almost guarantee you have someone there who has a disability. And why not hire more people with disabilities? Because as long as you're doing your universal accessibility of your environment, anybody can work there. And wait, if they need additional supports, that's what VR is for. We can pull in those additional supports, a job coach, accommodations, Ask Jan, Ask Earn, like all of those resources are presented to businesses to make sure that they feel confident in their choice. And if they have questions, just give us a holler.
It's really a good way to educate the community as well.
Absolutely.
On people with disabilities and that they can work.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only can work, we want real jobs and real wages, right? So full benefit packages and everything. You walk in the door as an employee like anybody else. And you get to just choose if you disclose or not, right? Because there is that. You don't have to. But if you choose to, making sure that business is aware of all of the different resources that are available for them too, to be supportive to everybody. Well, thank you for your time today. Thank you for being here.
And we were sworn to make sure that we say, please stay for the final remarks, because there's going to be that our Chief Disability Officer, Kim Ridley Hill, will be making. She wants to kind of remind you to come back tomorrow, but also there's a special presentation that shouldn't be missed, a performance that you'll enjoy. So if you can hang out for another half hour, we would invite you to please participate. So
that'll be in the grand meeting room.
Thank you.
Thank you.